Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. Look and tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Belize our hope, so tune in, less reason. Nobody feel left out, it's the vibe we're dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must happen under God blue skies. And nothing make people get victimized. That's why together for better we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Monday, the 17th of August, 2026. I'm Mose, Hyde, hosting today. Yes, fully on duty. I give thanks for the health and strength to be able to be here again. Another morning, another day, starting another week. We want to welcome everybody that has made our morning special by choosing to start it here with us on Creme Radio and on XTV. We hope that this morning your health's great, your energies have vibrations positive, and of course that your morning is nice, flexible, spacious, and you have time to be with us, spend some quality time to start your day. We know it gets busy, but sure, we want a little piece of it. You know that. We don't want all of it. That would be greedy. We just want a little part so that we can, of course, engage with you. So with that said, Belize, we are ready for Belize's premier morning conversation, the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Right, we're here, ready to do this. As you know, if you're familiar with us, that we start off with what we call the warm-ups, which means we've got a bit of morning news for you. Of course, we've got the weather forecast to start the day, so you know how the day is going to feel. We turn to the National Meteorological Service for all the latest information right now.
Good morning. Moist and unstable conditions prevail over the country. And in the 24-hour forecast, skies will be cloudy at times, becoming mostly cloudy this afternoon. A few showers and isolated thunderstorms will occur mostly over the south, coast, and offshore this morning. Activity will gradually increase and then spread around the country during this afternoon into tonight. Then high temperatures will reach around 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 92 inland, and then 80 up in the hills. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 80 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 72 inland, and then 68 in the mountains. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to northeast at 10 to 20 knots, with sea conditions being light chop to choppy. And operators of small crafts should exercise caution near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Then low tides occur at 7:30 this morning and at 7:16 tonight. High tides at 1:17 this afternoon, then at 1:12 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 10:01 this morning and set at 9:40 tonight, while sunset is at 6:17 this evening and sunrise at 5:36 tomorrow morning. And now for the extended forecast. Skies will be cloudy at times, with generally isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms expected for Tuesday, then slightly more over the south on Tuesday night. And finally, for the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected over the North Atlantic Basin during the next 48 hours. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
And now the morning news. Two road traffic fatalities over the weekend claimed the lives of an elderly man and a police officer. A 73-year-old Bella Vista resident, identified thus far only as Mr. Pau, was fatally injured after his motorcycle was hit by a grey Ford F-150 while taking a turn near the Independence Junction between miles 41 and 42 on the Thomas Vincent Ramos Highway around 7:45 a.m. Friday. Independence Police arrived to find Powell lying unresponsive on the pavement with severe head injuries, while his 39-year-old female passenger complained of bodily pain. Medical personnel from Bella Vista treated Powell on the scene before rushing him to Independence Polyclinic, where he succumbed to his injuries. The Ford F-150 was being driven by a 52-year-old Punta Gorda lecturer who was issued a notice of intended prosecution and provided a urine sample. The second incident occurred near Biscayne Village as Police Constable Armando Toledano was riding his motorcycle en route to work for his 4 p.m. shift Saturday in Belize City. Toledano was in full uniform and traveling along the Philip Gosden Highway when he was involved in a collision that left him with critical injuries. Emergency responders rushed him for medical treatment, but he succumbed shortly after. Police investigations continue. A 27-year-old Keokauka woman, Courtney Bowman, has been charged with attempted murder after allegedly stabbing her former partner, a 33-year-old businessman Aaron Gentle, on a pier on the island's north side. Gentle was socializing at Mangrove Beach on Sunday evening when Bowman reportedly contacted him to discuss their relationship. He traveled by jet ski to meet her. Gentle told police that after he informed Bowman the relationship was over, she became emotional, jumped onto his jet ski as he attempted to leave, and stabbed him twice in the neck with a knife. The pair struggled and fell into the sea before Gentle escaped and sought emergency help. He was treated in Keokauka, then transferred to the Kalishno Memorial Hospital, where his injuries were classified as wounding. Bowman was detained and charged with attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, and wounding. 26-year-old fisherman John Hernandez is recovering after being shot outside his home in the San Pedrito area of San Pedro around 4 a.m. Sunday. Police say Hernandez had just parked his golf cart and was opening his gate when two men on a motorcycle approached. The passenger dismounted and opened fire using what witnesses describe as a fully automatic pistol discharging approximately 12 rounds. Hernandez sustained multiple gunshot wounds to his upper back and leg. He is reportedly in stable condition and recovering. Police are investigating the incident. Calais Rose West of Mahogany Heights was crowned Miss Universe Belize 2026 at Mahogany Bay Resort in San Pedro Saturday night. The event was marked by several production mishaps, including a background featuring a representation of Guatemala's Tikal Maya temple at the start of the pageant, an accidental top 6 announcement, and repeated questions. Despite the confusion, West advanced to the top 3 and ultimately won the crown, with many pageant fans and experts expressing their belief that the top 3 deserved their placements and that West was crowned fairly. 8 delegates competed in the pageant. Samantha Jones, representing Orange Walk, was named the first runner-up, with Raina Thompson, who represented Doublehead Cabbage Belize District, being named second runner-up. West 24 holds multiple degrees from Western Kentucky University and advocates for linking women's basketball with educational funding opportunities. She will represent Belize at the 75th Miss Universe pageant in San Juan, Puerto Rico on November 24. Belize's September celebrations officially kicked off Saturday night at the Belize City Civic Center with the annual Carnival King and Queen competition. Veteran band Mother Nature Creation swept top honors in the senior category, claiming both the first place Senior King and Senior Queen titles. Soca Mocha Mass Band and Trenchtown Masqueraders secured second and third place in both senior categories. In the junior category, Colette Royals captured first place Junior Queen and Soca Massive earned first place Junior King. The competition serves as the precursor to the main road march, with judges scoring massive structural costumes based on craftsmanship, portability, thematic execution, and performance. The Belize Carnival Association will now conduct mass camp inspections ahead of Jouvert and the Carnival Road March on September 5th. That ends our morning news update. We take ourselves a break. When we come back on the other side, we open up for a conversation right here on Crumb Radio and on XTV. We'll be right back.
Informative, accurate, current information. Cremb's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Cause me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email. ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Monday morning, 17th August 2026. Mose Hyde on duty, of course, conducting the great conversation that happens on weekday mornings, Monday to Friday, right here on Creme Radio and on XTV. Conversation is not a one-person thing. That means that we obviously will need your participation. We depend on it daily to really drive the process forward. And so we have a phone number for you at 280-5848. That's the live line for you to participate in the conversation. We expect to hear from you before the morning is out. All right, so please, we have our first call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Morning, Mose. Morning, Belize.
Good morning.
So, yeah, I heard morning, brother.
Good morning. We're there.
We know we have to have a detailed conversation, but I get good instructions on two of my bona fide brothers, so I have to bring this up. I believe it was last week, the price of cabbage and potato gone up. So my connection, cabbage are now $4.50 a pound, potato are $4 a pound. And that's serious, brother. You hear that?
That's heavy. I know there's some fluctuations that happen from time to time based on what's going on with the weather with certain vegetables and their availability or their abundance. But those, I'm glad that you're kind of reach out and make we know that that's what's happening, so we could at least kind of keep track, no? Because I think it's important to keep track, because sometimes sometimes you'll find out that sweet pepper they on a certain price, and then it drop, and if you're a sweet pepper farming person, when the price goes up, you're feeling good. When there's an abundance of sweet pepper and your crop come ready when the price is down. So there's fluctuations especially with vegetables. I don't know what the price trend has been for 2026 with those particular items. So increase, and with what is happening with the overall trending of food prices going up, in particular over the past couple of years, it's never a happy thing to hear, no?
Yes, I mean, ask the brother, I think one of them, earlier this year, $1 a pound, and the other one, $2 a pound, but I don't remember which one or which.
Okay.
And indeed, prices fluctuate, but I don't think another thing when we grow, I believe. I don't know, but definitely that's something we have to find out that we're going on.
But we need fertilizers. We need we have to move them, because generally they are not being grown where it is the main the marketplace for the products are, so they have to be moved, and fuel costs. So the input costs are going up, and that's going to affect the price. And then there's also other things happening, like maybe the weather has not been ideal. So the inflation, especially with the fuel and fertilizer, are things which we know, and these are the harsh realities.
Respect to that. Thanks. Sometimes something big happening now with story, and then I say, you remember how you there when you hear that story? I want to know what your response when you hear the cabinet press release Thursday that the cabinet comes to the conclusion that detail would not purchase seedless smart. Or what you mean? What your response?
I was at home, and my first response was, to think ahead to what the repercussions would be. So while I mean no disrespect to Attorney Dickie Bradley, I'm kind of surprised, especially that a person of his wisdom and experience, which is more than mine, would feel that based on the history that we have here, that we have any moment to do any champagne uncorking or celebrating. I don't share that view at all. It wasn't my feeling. I didn't have a moment of, there was not a moment of any euphoria or celebration or anything of the sort. My first reaction was just to know, okay, in what form will this battle now proceed? That's even before the press releases that would come out, which kind of confirm my instinct, which is, I think, informed by the experience that we've had here with telecommunication. Telecommunication is like a, with athletes, they sometimes they get an injury that plagues them even when they get older, and they go on terminal call and say, I got sweets. I don't want a bad knee or something, and it have good days, but he always come back and be very problematic. I think telecommunications has been an injury that has good days, but it's never really gone. And so I know there was no fist pumping, there's no happy moment, there's nothing like that, and I think it's important for us to understand, and I want to put it. It might be maybe in a very crude language or a crude analogy, but I can't think of any other one. I think that attempted rape has serious implications and consequences. Maybe not as harsh as if you actually successfully rape someone, but to attempt to rape is still a very aggravated and violent attack, and so appropriately you are charged for that, and you are held accountable. And for someone who to ask someone to celebrate because an attempted rape was not successful is kind of bizarre in my view. And again, based on the one thing I did recognize was that, and that would not be my initial thinking, but over a period of time, I do recognize and say, take into consideration that it was a historical public I can't recall. Maybe it is something that has happened in-house before, but to have it known publicly, essentially, that the cabinet pushed back on the head of cabinet, which would be the prime minister, who essentially selects the cabinet, because that's the way it works here in our system of governance. I did say, okay, that is quite a public rebuke, a historical one, and I just looked at that and then considered all the things that led to that. I'm sorry if I am throwing water on the parade, Sister Yaya. I am not, I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm not trying to be Mr. Grumpy. I think there was once a moment, just what I've thought about and what I've walked myself through is that I did come here one morning after a decision was made and demanded, similarly to Attorney Bradley, that we should have a champagne moment, and that was when BTL was going to be nationalized by Prime Minister Barrow and his administration. I thought, okay, what a moment, and I foolishly, in my inexperience, understanding of things, thought, well, we have reached the mountaintop, and what a great accomplishment, and so I will never repeat that again. So I'm not trying to, again, I am not trying to be Mr. Miserable here. I'm just telling you as it is, as how I experienced the moment. You asked. I was not going to lead with that, but you, being you, of course, Carlene, and then you go and drag that right out of me first thing and make people think that, okay, this is just, that's where I want to start, Mr. Sourface himself. I don't mind being characterized as that, but also think about what I'm saying. This is not some epic conclusion and now the movie credits comes up. There is going to be a serious fall out, and there's going to be consequences, and the power and the resources of the people who have been spurned, that's not just going to wither away. This will manifest itself in a different format, and those who have resisted have to have that consciousness, and they have to be prepared to meet that challenge, because what we essentially have been told is that coming out of that, war is going to be declared on BTL, and again, that's this is the press releases, or what has been shared in the press, both the press release from the seller indicates that, okay, well, now, using Colin Moore's favorite phrase from Bugs Bunny, of course, you know this means war. And again, I believe the comments made by the chair, I think in his message to BTL employees, there's veil threats in that. I think that, you know, again, we need to know that there is no pause in this. Everything about what has happened in this the last couple of decades with our telecommunication industry and major players and operators, it should at the very least teach us one thing: the struggle continues. I will end it there.
Respect Mose, in the moment, I was pleased because organized people get on results. And for me, that's always therefore we know that when we organize collectively, we advocate better enough for our own interests if we organize collectively for an informed position. And that's all it was for me in the moment. And then you are your sobering self reminded me that there will be consequences to be paid. And then it dawned on me, hell, we may have this conversation. I don't get all the conversation. I'm sure I missed some of it. But I don't recall at no point in the conversations I have had or have heard that at any point we say, what would have happened if this not go through? Because we were so focused on this wrong and it shouldn't happen. Did I miss that more? Did we, at any point over a year, talk about what could happen if this purchase does not go through?
I don't know that I don't know that there was any moment when there was significant engagement on that. I think that dealing with the hideous nature of what was being rammed down our throats did not give you such a the breathing room to be doing, okay, so then what will they do after that? I think it's the first thing you have to fight off is what is upon you at the time, and I think that was enough to consume every bit of the energy. And as you know, people felt once the matter was postponed that, again, there was this feeling that, okay, there's no way that is coming back again. You know, it's like those whole scary movie of the 80s, you know, where the bad guy just doesn't seem to die. There's always another, just no matter what, they just keep on coming in the same movie, and then if anything, there's a sequel to that movie, but the bad guys don't die. You know, like I think Jason in Friday the 13th. I don't know if you ever watched those. So, yeah, I think that we're in for more turbulence, in my view. But it's going to be more difficult turbulence to resist, because it is not going to be as concentrated and as obvious to the naked eye. The things that will proceed now are going to be more low-key, but definitely unpleasant. And we have to be focused on that. Sister Yaya, I have changed my phone provider 4 or 5 times each time thinking that I was jumping into the lane of righteousness, only to find out that I am the one that's being bamboozled. I changed when the BTL was going to be retaken by Mr. Ashcroft and his alliance after the failed craziness with a guy by the name of Mr. Prosser. And I jumped over to the newcomer. And then it would later emerge that, well, we didn't know at the time that the newcomer was really still the old comer, because the majority shareholder was now the owner of majority shareholder of both of them at the same time. Like, understand what we've been going through here. Again, I think when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, who sits down and thinks that, oh, this is a matter that now we can actually celebrate. No, I'm not feeling any celebration. I've been a part of being played too often. Then days are done. Play me like that again. Then I ended up switching back, and then being dumped by the nationalizer himself, who decided that Kremandala was persona non grata and withdrew every ounce of advertising support. And then, man, and I'm going to celebrate with day one when they gone again in Champagne moment. Okay, and then ended up back with Smart, and maintain having Smart, having a smartphone number even right now as we speak. Not because I'm not cognizant of the fact of who the majority shareholder is, but I felt, okay, this is kind of my belief that, and even up to today, like the advertising support for us from Digicel has never been returned. Not anywhere what we believe should be the relationship we should have. It never returned. And so here I am, only to find out that, anybody who has a smartphone number and does business with Smart, we have to understand that essentially what was being proposed and what the argument was by the chair of BTL was that what they really were going to pay money for was for the cash flow. What they really were going to pay for is the subscriber base of SpeedNet, that they didn't feel the need to have to do auditing of the technology and all of that, and the assets, the physical assets, because the primary thing was that they would be taking over this cash flow, taking over us. We were ultimately what was being bought. We were ultimately what was being sold. I mean, what you said, the meaningful part of what was going to be transferred essentially was those who were contributing to creating a viable competitive space. We were basically, without our opinion having any value, just going to be shipped off to another, just basically transplanted over and paid 80 million. That's our value, really. There are 110,000 of us subscribers. Our value is $80 million, and that's what was going to happen. And so now we have to have that consciousness and look at this. Okay, now how is this all going to turn out? Because as we are talking here, ultimately, what was being rumored and whispered in the background is that, well, what has been said to the government is that if this doesn't go through, what the competitor is going to do is just going to lower its prices and run a race to collapse BTL. So we are out here active right now, sister. Like, no parade should be planned. No party should be organized. Like, we have to be about the business, about staying focused and understand this BS is just going to change its profile, but it's not going to become less BS. We're still in the midst of something that is very active, and we have to make conscious choices. That's my position on that, sister.
Yeah, brother, but definitely through this process, I think that may an opportunity for we learn more about the telecommunication sector, that believes for sure. And moving forward, we have to stay engaged and willing to learn and relearn more about it. But for me, definitely the collective unity of people that want big win for me, and that's something we need to remember going forward. Is we need that going forward. We have to stay unified and knowledgeable for whatever Gideon they come ahead, and know there's serious sacrifices maybe we can't even imagine. We won't have to make sacrifices. We won't have to, in order for have for we best interest, whatever that will look like in the future. So for you, Mose, what has been like the learning experience? Because some historic things happening that is go wrong. What has been the learning experience for you, and what you feel like you have to pay attention to? Because again, now remember that everybody can tell you this. This happened to Bossy in a real time, which was again collective people power. Now they are being stealth. They go undercover. So it's really up to we now for try read the room, like where they come. We can't do it. I think everything good right now, and I really appreciate your sober position about for you. When you learn, and I really take out, you're not the only Belizean, but you'll be real about the battering you take with only 2 options, phone providers, and licking where the organization take because the phone company choose to not advertise with XTV anymore. Yes. When you learn from this go wrong, based on what you learned this go wrong, where make you more sharper looking forward when it comes to this particular battle?
Well, clearer sense of in theory what the PUC should be, and focus now on the fact that legislatively PUC could really be one boss, but if you put flunkies there, it won't be one piece of shit. And it's not because of its legislative capacity. It's just that people now people now act in a professional capacity. People want give loyalty to power, and that it's important for us to, in my view, to start to now reimagine and redesign how people end up in positions, and the whole venting of people who are chosen, and the whole that whole process we have to look on that and say, no, that don't work for we. Like, we could fix up and strengthen the legislation as much as we want. PUC have punch. This matter should have been. We shouldn't have to use none of we bandwidth to deal with this. The PUC may just be about what it's supposed to be about. And so in a more so than in previous chaos, the failure of PUC cannot go. In fact, what we now find out is that while purporting to be doing its role, it seems to have provided quite some appreciated assets on the part of the aggressor. So it's like, we need to know that's what stands out right now to me, and we have to really now zoom in on PUC and zoom into how these positions are being determined. Sister, over this weekend, I have been enjoying not the stopping of this acquisition. I have been enjoying something that broke internationally, and I found in it an important message. And if you'd allow me, let me just say this. I don't know if you are aware about the White House press secretary, a lady by the name of Caroline Leavitt. Have you ever seen her or heard the name?
No.
Okay, so she has never seen a lie that she was not willing to tell. Understandably, the position of White House press secretary is to do your best to protect your boss and all of that. But she has broken all records as it comes to going all out to defend her boss and to never concede truth and to always be willing to lie. I've never seen anything like it before. She's amazing. She's one of the most straight-faced distorter of facts and truths that I've ever seen. And trust me, I've seen a couple. But it's not my business. I get it that she not drink the Kool-Aid, she sniff it, she inject it. She's believing that she's protecting God's gift to mankind in 2026. That's how I look at her, and I'm amazed by her belief, her worship. So I don't know if you're aware, but last week one of the most incredible things happened. I think it was last week or maybe the week before. So it turns out that President Trump was abroad and they received intelligence that the plane that he was going to travel in was going to be targeted by an Iranian assassination attempt. And apparently they came up with a scheme. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but the plane that the President of America travels in takes all the delegates, it takes all the high-ranking press corps that report on the President and the White House from all the major news organizations. Everybody travels on the plane, just that the press corps is at the back, and then you have cabinet members, and then you have all the amenities that come with this quote-unquote, the leader of the free world, and the plane that he or she travels in. But they get the intelligence, and so now they decide, okay, we are going to protect the president. So the president is going to get on the plane, and then he's going to come off the plane, and then they're going to have a food truck in which he gets in, and they take him to another plane. Right, which is intelligent protection. But in the meantime, they tell those who are on the plane, members of his cabinet, the press corps, to please lower the panels on your windows. So everybody lowers the panels, not knowing why they have to do that. It's because they don't want any of them to see that the president is actually getting off the plane. The president takes his Minister of Defense, and he takes what the rumor mill is saying, his sweetheart, and they go to another plane. But they leave high-ranking cabinet members and high representatives of the major news organizations on the plane that is going to be targeted. And they are not told that there is a security risk. So now you have the likes of people who worship the likes of Mr. Rubio, and again the likes of Miss Caroline Leavitt, who are on the plane. They don't know that their boss has gone to another plane to be safer, and all of them are left on the main plane to face whatever risk might exist. Now, even though, as they say, all is well that ends well, there is the plane, nothing happens to the plane, and everybody gets back home, which is good. They still now have to live with the fact that their boss left them on a plane, left all of them on a plane, to essentially, as it's called in the media, what they're calling it, on the bait plane, while he goes on the plane on his own. So last week, Miss Lady resigned, and everybody is saying online that she couldn't deal with the fact that that is what happened. And what strikes me is the message or the moral or the moral in that story for me is, man, you're not for worship man. You're not for worship man.
I didn't remember her name, but I know her by face and the blonde hair.
Yeah.
That's serious. I missed the whole story there.
It's
an
incredible.
It showed that he actually could think for himself. Finally.
It's an incredible story. It's incredible. It's incredible. It is. You know, the media people are pissed off, and they've been saying that. Like, could you imagine? Imagine they do that to you, just like that. Like, boss, that sister that deep, and they're like, you don't believe her. So I think like the people who end up in certain positions here, you know, who are loyal and, you know, all of that nonsense, like, you know, to worship people, man. Only to worship people. You know, for worship people. You know, for worship people. I know all of them where might not come out. I know none of them. You can't feel good in yourself if you know that you have such loyalty to power. But power never did give a damn about you. And power me willing for sacrifice. Like you have to really sit down and think about that story. Like I sit down and think about that story. Like that is an incredible story of the calculations of power. And power was willing in one of the most naked ways to turn you into a martyr. Like that's what it was. Like we who live in the world are reading conspiracy theories and tell you that things are never the way how you think it is with lots of some of the major news. Say no man, people would have never do that. Then people almost were used as baits to become martyr, and it's crazy to me. And all because we worship man. Somehow we worship man. And I don't mean that in the sense the gender hate, like we worship power. We worship it. Like ultimately we do. And so when they get these positions, when they're supposed to act in our way, whether for we best interest, they're not worried about what the legislation said, they're not worried about what the duties said, they're not worried about how we feel. They're not worried about it, they're just worried about how to please power. That's why using the term worship, that's what they're doing. That's what worship is. Pleasing the highest high. And that is what makes them unworthy of being in the positions that they have. That rather than aligning themselves with what their true responsibilities and allegiances should be, it's really about just serving the boss and worshiping.
That's serious. I never see this analogy coming, but that's and I don't like you never talked about it before, but what happened recently in the United States, we just shared the way. That's serious when you look at like Social Security Board, the BTL Board, PUC, for example, even Cabinet. But I don't know how. Like, I appreciate this particular takeaway. I don't know how. I have to sit down with this for a minute, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I know I follow a lot of these things more than you do when it comes to all of that. I follow it, and I've followed a lot of craziness that's been happening for a while in geopolitics, world politics. There's so much going on. We're living in there's so many alarm bells going off, sister. So many bells, so many. We're in an engine room where everything is in the red. Everything is in the red, right? And we have not had any time to deal with any of that because we have to figure out the burning inside, right? The burning inside. while everything around planet Earth right now is just red. And it's crazy. But I have to break. Sister, give thanks for the reasoning.
Respect for the reasoning. Only organized people are safe people.
This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. You got to break. We have traffic on a Monday, which you know is not every day. We have very heavy traffic. We'll be joined when we come back from the break by the 4 independent senators who have stood ground on the matter of the acquisition. We get to hear their thoughts and their feelings as we move into the next phase of this process. So coming up right after our break, we go to 2 cents cam, we take a break. We're going to have this extraordinary conversation here with these 4 independent senators right here in studio on WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We break, we'll be right back.
Watching WB, this is XTV. Big respect to 4 Point Security, our #1 sponsors. Alright, the people back at Genosha unhappy because the dust they affect them. So we could go find out the people in 2 cents.
How this dust they affect you on your street?
Well, right now, the dust not really give me that type of effect, but other people I think get that effect or complain about the dust. I think so. I can't really.
We don't want to do, or how they could help, if fix in the street, make the dust lay down.
Bring in the graders.
Pave the road.
Pave it. Yeah.
Good morning. The dust they affect me very much. We right here back at Genosha Boulevard, back at Court Thompson, we forgetting. So even driver, they drive past, like I know people now live back here, they no got no conscience. We tired of all the dust. One truck come, every Sunday go spray in the water. Then everything all day, Monday till Saturday with the solar dust. We plead to whoever responsible for fix the street. We no call no name because we don't know. But we want please remember we live back here. We need a street fixed. Thank you very much. That is my 2 cents.
How you feel the dust affect you? Like how you don't want businessman on the street?
Well, I don't mechanic. I don't just live on the back. I can't drive back slow.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Government no fix nothing.
Yeah.
So
we don't want to do for help, you know.
I want to fix the street. I want to fix the street, man, because I don't dust. I don't worry about Genosha again. I have different people that did it right now. So.
Yeah, your 2 cents.
Yeah, my 2 cents.
Right. My 2 cents is that this whole stretch right here need to pave, right? Because alone dust. The drivers and they don't drive slow and drive hard. So we need to pave this road there or make them fix the road because alone dust every day alone dust. And we don't tire right because the whole stretch right here need to pave. Yeah? So yeah.
Yeah, your 2 cents.
Yeah, my 2 cents. So the whole stretch need to pave. Because we tire those alone dust.
Please,
every day.
All right. That's why here 2 cents how the dust affect you on the street.
Well, the house full of dust. The house, you can't even sit down in the yard, all the white dust to get in your face. Then you get sick, every minute you got cold. It's really, see they leave there by the street. We put it there so that vehicle could try slow down to eliminate the dust. Because this is sickening women, it's tiring, it's embarrassing.
All right.
Every great job starts at Brothers Habet with the best supplies and the right support, including free delivery on site, so you can focus on the job. Brothers Habet, working with contractors since 1983.
Altoona is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lost a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helped supported our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
With the launch of this website, the magistracy reaffirms its commitment to making justice more accessible, transparent, and something that looks very familiar to everyone who comes before the court.
For a person facing criminal proceedings, the website provides information on how the criminal process works, how to apply for bail, and how to appeal a decision. For someone who needs to access the family court, information about the services provided, together with the relevant forms and guidance, can now be found in one accessible location. Similarly, information on how civil claims are brought in the magistrate court is available on the website. These may seem like simple things, but they are not insignificant. For the ordinary citizen, knowing where to go, what form to complete, what procedure to follow, and what to expect can make the difference between feeling completely lost in the justice system and feeling empowered to navigate it. This website places important information and documents within reach of every citizen with access to the internet.
And our goal is really to build public confidence. The launch is supposed to, stimulate that so that the public can go online, click the link, play around with the website, get familiar with it. Also, we would definitely want the Bar Association and other key stakeholders, the lawyers, to promote the use of this website, and also the court staff.
We are often the face of justice that the ordinary Belizean is more likely to meet. That is not a burden we resent. It is a responsibility that we embrace. If we are, for so many, the only door into the justice system, then we owe it to them to make that door easier to open.
Belize is growing, and as our nation grows, so does the demand for electricity and new energy solutions. More homes, more businesses, more opportunities. BEL continues to strengthen the system that supports this growth, reinforcing infrastructure and solidifying capacity, preparing for what's ahead, ensuring reliable service for homes, for businesses, and for communities across Belize. Keeping the lights on every single day. Belize Electricity Limited, prepared for growth, prepared for Belize.
As a sheetrock installer for decor construction, I know the job is only as good as the materials I use. Using inferior products can lead to more waste, weak core integrity, sagging, and more time fixing the problems instead of finishing the job right. And that's why I trust USG Drywall, Ply-Sem, and base screws from Venice, because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
Catoo's Trucking is the one place that can handle all your concrete mix needs. 50-pound sandbags, white sand, sand and gravel, river sand, black dirt, clay and landfill, washed white sand, concrete mix and limestone. We also do land clearing, road construction, and excavation. For all your building and home projects, visit us at mile 14 on the Philip Golson Highway. Call or WhatsApp at 673-1118, 671-9199, or 661-5863. We're open Mondays to Saturdays. Our prices are so good you can't get a better deal anywhere. Catoo's Trucking, where we do things right.
You're up against some tough challenges, but not all heavy-duty lubricants can handle the pressure. Until now. Introducing Ridgeline Lubricants, a homegrown solution engineered right here to solve the hurdles you face every day. Backed by experts who understand the ups and downs of where you're operating and what's at stake. Specially formulated to protect your equipment so you can push past grueling hours, heavy loads, and harsh conditions to reach for greater productivity. Ridgeline Lubricants. Long live your equipment.
Back to school tax-free days are here again. Saturday, August 15 and 29th. The Belize Tax Service is pleased to inform all consumers that General Sales Tax, GST, will once again be waived on eligible school supplies. In addition to the existing exempt zero-rated items, the government has approved the following school supplies to be GST-free for the designated period. The approved items are as follows: exempt zero-rated notebooks, textbooks and workbooks, school bags, pencils, crayons, lead pencils, erasers, and pencil case. Taxable items that are tax-free for the approved days: pens, uniform material, ready-made uniforms, binders and folders, highlighters, markers, pencil sharpeners, calculators, regular and scientific, scissors, folder pages, graph paper, typing sheets, rulers, Bristol board, correction fluid or whiteout, eligible footwear, black school shoes and black tennis shoes, tapes, brown paper book covers and craft paper, newsprint or shop paper, liquid soap, glue, geometry sets, lunch kits and boxes, socks, hand sanitizer and toilet paper. Remember, check your receipts after purchase. To ensure GST is not incorrectly applied, report any abuse or non-compliance by calling 613-2773, 613-8375, 614-5731, or 613-2840. For any further assistance or information, please visit or contact any Belize Tax Service office countrywide. Our team is ready to assist you.
Good morning and welcome back to WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. I don't know if this has ever happened before here where we have so much power under one roof. We have the combined power of 4 independent senators and unprecedentedly, we have seen that power organize and consistently stand in solidarity and really play a pivotal role in a national movement and so on. I have them here to congratulate, but also to really move the conversation forward this morning. We have with us the senators representing the NGOs, the churches, business and labor. We have Senator Wade, Senator Chanona, Senator Herrera and Senator Dennison here with us this morning, and so we say a big thank you for their willingness to come on our show, but also a thank you for the stance that they took and have taken when it comes to the proposed now, quote unquote, rejected BTL proposed acquisition of SpeedNet. Good morning and welcome to WB.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Individually, senators, your immediate thoughts on what the cabinet rejection of this proposal means, or what your interpretation and what your feelings are about it as we stand here this.
Well, I think the journey continues. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mose, and it's a pleasure to be here. Essentially, I was glad that that press release came out from Cabinet. To what extent, really, Cabinet as a whole, because they were expected to meet, I think, sometime this week. But it came out, and it appears that the deal is on hold again. There are those, I think, that are trying to put it as if it is over and finished and done with. And I don't feel that kind of easement as yet. I believe that the regulator needs to speak. I think that even some of what Cabinet did by speaking before the regulator, in a sense, is giving the regulator a break to continue to be foggy at best. And so I think we are in a good place, but I still somehow don't feel very settled that it is over and done with.
Yeah, I think, Mose, first of all, thanks for having us this morning. I think that there are two dimensions. There's a political dimension and then there's a technical regulatory one. I think that the type of pressure that was brought to be born on the whole process, I think, had the political operatives back off and in terms of their support. But still, we haven't heard anything from the Public Utilities Commission yet. As far as we know, BTL board had approved to proceed with that, and so I think that it's important still that that we hear and where the Public Utilities Commission is on this. I think that it's important that we maintain the type of focus and pressure, because as Senator Wade mentioned just now, is that we don't believe that it's completely done. I think it's very clear from the groundswell of support we've seen opposing this is that the Belizean people really does not want to return to a monopoly situation in Belize. I think many of us remember what that looked like, and especially in an era where telecommunications, it becomes so important to the very foundation and essence of business that it's very difficult for us to imagine us or see us operating on a telecommunications monopoly again. It's certainly not good for the country. I've heard the arguments that it's good for BTL, and I haven't bought into that whole argument, but it certainly cannot be good for the country and for the development of Belize.
Most for me, it's an indication that we have gone far away than we should have as a democracy from the will of the people. I think for us to have had the coalescence of so many organizations for one singular message to resonate with the highest decision-making body of Belize says a lot, because we just came out of an election a little over a year ago, and for members in that body to have not understood what was the will of the Belizean people says to me that we've shifted away from the voice of the people being what drives this country to something different. And I won't humor a guest now as to what that is, but I, for one, think that we need to just see this for what it was. It was bad decisions placed on top of bad decisions, paid for by the people of Belize with the money from the pensions of Belizean workers. And I think the workers stood up and said, no, not on my back. And I think that's the message that resonated for me, that the people of Belize and the workers of Belize said no.
Thanks. Good morning, Belize. I think where I land is of course aligned with my colleagues, but also that it's one more time where we are the last to know sort of the context and the lead up and the build up, but the first to pay. And then, which to me has staggering implications in terms of accountability, transparency, and participatory democracy and decision making, inclusivity in decision making. But it's also where I go to that people power still exists. And I was glad that the Amandala newspaper headlined that, because I think it's really a call to all citizens that as much as our voices can resonate in certain corridors, their voices are what carry and what compels and what really causes action. And I talk about hope now as an action word, because I can only hope that there won't be that fatigue, because I look around and I just see fires everywhere, like everything that, wow, this happened there, oh, this happened, and like, you know, and then pageantry yesterday, you know, like there's so much, and it's really, yes, and we run the risk of just fatigue, and you know what, I just want to stay in a mighty bubble, and I just want, you know, manage what I can manage, and I think that's real, and I respect it because it's a defense mechanism. But at the end of the day, if we don't keep showing up, if we don't keep finding out and standing up wherever we land, I know they tell you after they're for or against, but just participate, just engage, because otherwise some bad actors out there, they count on us to give up and walk away. And if we don't realize how fast things could change from a democracy to not, that to me is what keeps me up at night and will have me traumatized, that we only need to look around to see what is happening in other parts of the world to realize how fast it will happen here. And so I thank the Belizean people for doing what they could have done to make sure that their position on this echoed, whether it was through the keyboard or through the call-in shows or directly to their area reps. But we have to keep participating in this, not just on this issue. We have multiple things happening, for really make sure that when we go into the next couple years, we go out as strong as we could, because we have some real decisions to come. This kind of thing should not be it.
The aftermath, what are your primary concerns when it comes to that at this point in time?
Well, if I could kick off, I mean, I read those press releases with my former media hat on, and I can't figure out what the objective was. I could only, my personal view, it sounded very threatening to me. And I was hoping for the content not to be threatening, because I don't think there's a way for say, oh, good news, you know, prices want to drop and competition services are improved, but yet it came across very, oh, the competition number one, you know, like, do not question the manner in which I will provide competition. And I was caught off guard by that, as opposed to embracing it as a turn the page moment. So I look forward, and as our colleague says in the Senate, my flabbers are still ghasted that we are not hearing from the regulator, and I think their silence to the nation speaks volumes, and I think their role in this has to be fully ventilated, because I don't know how, under the Act, we don't know what they know and where they stand at this point, because to the colleague's point, I think we should know whether this is a pause, whether this is completely off the table. I think we should know where the genesis of all of this is, and therefore, you know, what happens next. But the fact that we don't know is telling.
Yeah, telecommunications, like broadcasting, is a regulated space, and where there is any kind of aggressive movement or any kind of movement that seeks to upset things like democracy, freedom of speech, the regulator has to be present. And to me, BTL in a sense was kind of like, instead of compete genuinely for customers within the space, I think I could just buy over the competition, become the monopoly, and set the terms. And that in the face of the regulator saying, okay, this company is, what's the word that was used? Dominant, is dominant. It's like, no, I don't just want to be dominant, I want to be exclusive, right? And so what a response to be exclusive, even though dominance is already saying that something needs to be done. And so here we have BTL now seeking to absorb, and now it hasn't happened because the political wing has intervened. I have a problem whenever the political arm has to intervene in regulatory spaces, because not only did you select those who will sit on the regulatory seat, but now you're dictating from a different position. So something is wrong with our democracy. Another example I could give is when our good friend Munnings, for example, and the whole tax issue, where within a couple minutes time, the department say he go in a jail regardless of the initial pronouncements at the court. Before you know it, he come out back 24 hours later, dreads gone, bald-headed, and they stand before like a literal victim within a short period of time. And then people, they try call politicians for intervene in a space which should have been properly regulated and properly legislated. So we have so many areas like these that need to be properly addressed. And so it seems from the press release that Smart is saying, okay, it's time to play hardball. So we need to keep our eyes focused on the regulator and call out to the regulator to ensure that there is fair play in the space. And that includes even the government, the government contracts in the issue of telecommunications. So I don't think, as I said, that it is over. There's a lot that's still wrong in that space. And as you know, broadcasting and media, we also fall and play within that space.
My thoughts, there's no independence in the BTL board, and the terrible decision making that they have made in the last year says to me that we need new insights, new vision, new people with better accountability and better transparency and better moral compasses at the helm of our telecom industry. And I make no apologies for it. In a small country like Belize, technology has to be the way we develop our country. And if we have bad actors at that helm, we are going to regress as a society. And we were about to go 25 years in the past over this last year by a decision that all those people are old. Maybe Alan Pollard wasn't old enough to remember, but everybody else on that board certainly is old enough to remember what it was like under BTL at the time. So how could we have envisioned going back there? Me, I just said Mark Lizarraga was just too lazy. I don't think, like, I'm not giving any special accolades. I'm saying they took the lazy approach to improving services in the telecom industry in Belize by just flexing money. And it wasn't even money that they had. But if they had 100 and how much million? $70 million that they wanted to flex with, flex it into technology, that's where I think the road ahead is for me.
The morning after, Moses, I think the focus has to be on what is good for the consumer and what constitutes healthy competition. We cannot look at competition from a transactional standpoint. I think we have to look at it more from a broader perspective. And so I'm hoping that the PUC is up to the task in terms of regulating it properly and ensuring that at the very core of what the focus is the consumer in terms of what is best for him or her to operate within the country. I think that competition, from what we saw in terms of that release, it appeared to me as a declaration of war. Now there's all types of unholy alliances, if you will, in that scenario. Because in one way, I mean, you know, the Prime Minister's family is also a part of that country, that company that is declaring that is making that declaration. And then on the other hand, he controls the PUC. He also, the government also has the majority in BTL. So it's really a quagmire of conflicting interests that we're looking at right there. But it's within all of this, I think it's important that the Public Utilities Commission does its job and ensure that, you know, we're looking at the overall good of the economy and of the consumer.
Your thoughts on, you've mentioned, I think all four of you have mentioned the PUC and hoping what the PUC should do. My concern is, do you feel that there is a need for evaluation of failures and performance, and for there to be some period where performances are held accountable? Or do we just press the reset button, have a clean new page, and let us just try to be well behaved going forward? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't have a position on that as yet. I believe that as a representative of the church, I hold a piece of the puzzle. Even when I go into Senate, there are certain things that I do understand about every piece of legislation and others that I don't. So I walk into every situation with, I have a part of it and another part I don't have. I trust my colleagues. My colleagues have been very consistent. I am the newest person on, and I keep saying that there's a reason for that. They have history with the Senate that I don't have, and so I have to depend upon their experience as well as what I bring to the table. So every Senate meeting, I have my speech and I listen to every single speech. I have changed my vote on a number of occasions because what they bring to the table matters. Yeah, I mean, even this morning, we have to look at that. What do we do with the players who have played so naughtily over the last couple of weeks? How do we deal with them? And so I cannot say that I have reached or made a decision, but I'm saying that for me, I am collecting the information, listening to my colleagues, listening to the fact that the joint social partners continue to meet, and I think that is something that will have to be addressed.
Well, I will confess to being more than a little traumatized and jaded at the idea of another inquiry, because our previous inquiry report is still sitting, I believe, ostensibly on the desk of the President of the Senate. But that exercise for me also showed where the obstacles can come from when that I would think, I don't want to say benign, but what we would think are run-of-the-mill or basic information that the public should be aware of, that the report is not yet public. The public paid for it, and I, for one, continue to stand that they should see the report. But I also think it is critical, and you've heard reference to 2004, 2005. I was in the media then. I was in the crowd. I know the washragina, the Ziploc wet up so that when the tear gas come, you got some immediate relief while it run. If we don't look at where this came from, and that will give me the cold seed, that were it not for rumors that started last June and for our collective, not just our in this room, but our collective public stand in January and February of this year, we would have been talking about $170 million on technology and on a model that I still can't figure out what's what and why. So that's where I agree with you, Mose. I think there has to be accountability in how we could have gotten here, because I still feel like we are that close to being there again, anamanas, without notice. And I just think that this sense of like some shoes want drop where we not know about, or some agreement want pop up, or something want land on the orders that the day as a supplemental with no notice and no context and I'm supposed to know kind of vibes. I mean, that to me, if we're on the quote unquote inside and we feel like there's this always some, when you call me for invite me to the show, you remember what I said? What's the crisis now?
Yeah.
Because I just feel like there's this constant state of like, what next? What not come? Where's the tragedy? Because
and what was my response?
There's no crisis. No, I'm kidding. You said you want the senators to be on the show.
I said that this project called Nation State believes is one grand continuous crisis.
That's yes.
Most I think that the players lost all credibility from the time they brought a proposal of $170 million purchase of the cable companies and Smart to the table. That just threw me out completely. I mean, when I saw that, there's no way I could have taken any type of proposal seriously after that. It just baffled me that they would be willing to pay for cable companies when almost the entire country is moving away from cable, and not only looking at that, but wanting to pay $90 million for those cable companies. $90 million. And so that one was really, really tough for me to wrap my head around. And then so I felt, and I still feel very strongly about this, that
whoever accept mea culpa?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think that you have to hold them accountable. I think that those who brought that and were pushing it should be held accountable to it. I don't believe that they are fit to run that company again, simply because that tells me a whole lot. It really says a whole lot.
Me too. Like I make no apologies for it. Resign, no. Like I resign because you take God out your thoughts and decide you may buy $170 million worth of old technology instead of putting that into BTL, putting that into the human resources of BTL, putting that into the technology that BTL could acquire to make the lives of Belizeans better. But no, you want the easy way out. So I forget the familial. I can't forget the familial ties. Man, to your brother and the brother, your boss. I want to try to forget it, but I can't forget it. And I want this to remain with the Belizean people. The board of BTL, as it currently stands, did not stop this deal, the public pressure stopped this deal. So they're still minded that this is a good thing for the people of Belize, that for BTL. That's what they want to do. That's what they wanted to do. And there's been, in my mind, no real position from the board taken that, well, they're gonna backtrack. And if they are backtracking now, their decision-making process is so flawed that it cannot be trusted going forward. That's my position.
On that note, Senator Dennison, we will take a break and come back with more Wake Up Belize morning vibes. We got the Independent Senate in the House sitting with us until about 9 o'clock. All right, so stay tuned. This is Creme Radio on XTV. We'll be right back.
Hello Belize, if you're looking for the perfect home air conditioner, then listen up. First, choose the right tonnage. Correct sizing means perfect cooling and much lower electricity bills. Now, look for efficiency. GREE uses AI-driven performance to optimize cooling and fight high energy costs. Lastly, don't just cool your air, clean it. Demand health-focused air treatment and smart connected features. Get the global leader in smart home comfort. Contact us today to find your perfect GREE AC.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I hear they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news and the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
When EMS hit, our survival rate was like 1%, 2%, 5%. I think if we got 10%, we were lucky. And we kept, like I mentioned earlier, we kept trials, and then we start to improve. And now, I must say that we are seeing much, much better. We are 50, 60, 70, 72% survivals with the funds right now.
We are only using about 30% of the entire acreage that we have. We have plans to completely fill up all the ponds, so that automatically increases the production capacity for our farm in general, but all the farms in general also, because we do keep in touch as a growers association, and then we talk about what's their ramp up plan, and everybody is very hopeful of the industry growing back to its previous glory.
At one point there was 17 shrimp swamps, and over the period 11 closed down. But with Mr. Ravi interest, I can see that restoration coming every single day. Just around COVID, the production dropped to 1.02 million. And as we progress this year, we expect to reach at least 3 million pounds of shrimps in the country. And I hope that those that are investing in shrimps today will definitely see progress maybe 3 or 4 years from today.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale. always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
It was rainy, muddy, playing in a whole heap of mud.
We actually started working out of an apartment with about 6 of us. It was only 9 of us.
About 15 of us, not sure where we were heading.
I came from Cancun, Mexico for an interview and I didn't go back.
First time working a big girl job. And if you didn't know, you had to figure it out. I didn't know anything about plumbing, so I had to study YouTube.
We won the bid.
I definitely have to ask your boss to give you a raise. I plan on retiring here. 8:39 in the night, I'm still picking up the phone and each layer matters, guys.
I want to see or hear people say that Design Depot is a family.
Design Depot to me is like a family.
And we all combine to make this one beautiful Sunday dinner. I don't know who might be the salad, but 1, 2, 3. Never stop.
The success of my business means a lot to my family, especially my brother, because I'm continuing his legacy, making butterfly art collages. It was very hard for me to receive payments. I had to go directly to meet the person I'm purchasing from and who I'm selling to receive payment. Because I opened my business account with Atlantic Bank, now I can make and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together. Have a vision? We've got what you need. From idea to install, Brothers Habet, all your building needs under one roof.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We do have the phone, and I know that there have been people asking whether or not we're taking calls. We do have to take calls. This is WB, but let me just quickly state, we don't have a lot of time when you really consider it with 4 senators, but I wanted to get, just on a matter of clarity, this issue of the bills that are not, that, you know, there is a feeling that that maybe the bills hold up in the Senate is a form of protest. But could you just explain to us what's going on with the bills that are in the Senate? I don't know who's going to.
I want to. I think if that's a form, if doing your job is a form of protest, then I have a great difficulty with the status quo of the legislature in this country. Because what I think it is us trying our best to ensure that the pieces of legislation get the type of scrutiny that it had not gotten before, either historically, but also in the lower house, where we're not addressing policy issues that are just so glaring that they ought not to have come to the Senate. So I want to suggest very kindly that no bills are languishing in the Senate. Bills are in the Senate because work needs to be done on those pieces of legislation, and we are prepared to do the work.
No, I have received information from a news editor that the protests that were being organized by Labour and other social partners for tomorrow, those have been cancelled.
No, they've been postponed.
Postponed.
They've been postponed.
Okay.
I want to be very, very clear.
Okay.
The joint unions came together along with the utility unions over the weekend, and we had deliberated some very important matters of national issues, and we wanted to take the time to, because we think it's a pause, we wanted to take the time to reflect, reset, and ensure that when we pull the hammer on the leather on the ground, boots on the street, that it is for a bigger issue now than just this BTL acquisition.
Okay.
So it is not cancelled, it is postponed. There will be no protest tomorrow. I invite everyone to a press conference at the same time, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at the BNTU headquarters.
All right, caller, you have a question. Good morning.
No, I have a comment. Good morning to all the senators, up to you, Brother Mose. Good morning. Can I make the comment?
Very, very compact though. We don't have a lot of time.
No, long story.
Yeah.
I tell myself, this thing here, they call it, I will refer to as don't know how to do it regarding this thing with BTL and SMART. I tell myself, no, give me a break, 1 minute. They forget competition. One time I'm a competition. Then I always tell myself, they never know about nation building. See how it all kind of things they haunt the state of Belize. I tell myself, Lordy, the boy listen, I said to myself, Lordy, when exploitation towards little Belize will end. Thanks, my friend.
Thank you very much. So when we think of you guys and the work that you're doing, and in particular as it relates to the opposition to the acquisition, because I think it's important to just remind listeners and viewers that your opposition was with stated justifications and what was required, which were never provided. There was the fake invitation to meet, which we now know was complete dishonesty. But I have a call. WB, good morning.
Morning, Belize. To say quickly, one of the things will make one difference and historically at this moment, that is unification of independent senators. My take is that not happened before because the senators represent the interests of the people what they represent. In this case, the independent senators really come out representing the interests of the Belizeans. So I don't know where I'm set to make independent senators genuinely represent the interests of Belizeans. So this not become historic number, this become the norm. And then the second question, the second point for me is, with 13 people in the Senate, inclusive of the president, if therefore get with the independent senators and we with the opposition senator, what then? Because I think I hear one murmuring that the state want to make sure this never happen again. The so-called democracy, this is an opportunity where the closest thing we get for seeing a really meaningful people participation. So what that for the position moving forward? Because you know they don't want to ever unify, and I don't know what's going to happen to know anyways. But anyways, what we could do? Put this off on we foot to make sure we know before the hammer come down. Because they want to try do something to make sure this never happen again. What we the people need to know so that we could get on the back. Respect.
All right.
Can I open the door? My brethren will close it, but thanks to Sayaya, I think it is critically important for the public to be reminded that a stated priority of constitutional reform is an elected Senate. And it is my opinion that that priority is to remove the social partner seats. And I look at how we are governed according to the standing orders and how we are being governed now. I think it is critically important for the Belizean people to look at what is being proposed and why it is being proposed and what would be the outcome of democracy under an elected Senate in the way that is being proposed, which to me looks a lot like the lower house. Because if we can't see that, and that's why I always try to encourage people the big picture perspective, they will leverage the fact that the only official referendum before the churches one was about an elected Senate. But details matter, and it is going to be very, very important that when those constitutional priorities are reminded of, and I think we have a PCC report and the independent experts report pending, I think it will be critically important for people to reconcile and recognize that certain things are going to be leveraged and weaponized by those who would want to silence voices like ours. And I'm not pleading for my job, but at the end of the day, somebody has to do this job. Somebody has to do this job. And if we don't have those formal platforms and those official reckonings, then what does that do to the state of democracy? And that's probably in Senator Denison's book. But it's really important that we look at this constitutional reform exercise for what it has to be to make it the people's constitution, because otherwise it will be, in my mind, there's a danger of becoming an illusion of democracy.
Yeah, I would want to add that when it comes to the elected Senate versus its current composition, the last thing that the Belizeans spoke about was not about the elected Senate. The last thing it spoke about is we want the 13th senator to be able to buffer the problems that are taking place within the political circle. So I know that is foremost in my mind whenever I go to Senate, that the people expect something different from the Senate. It sees the Senate not just as a rubber stamp, but it has given it the authority through that 13th senator to be able to slow or stop things down whenever the need exists. And so the politician's response is the elected Senate, because then it replaces people who have very strong independent institutions behind them and replaces it with what? PUP and UDP again, which they are able to stand up against each other in the lower house, and everybody is entertained by what happens there, but then everybody is affected by the laws and the poor legislations when they come out. And so we are, in the current social partner composition of the Senate, we are, I want to agree 100% with what Senator Denison is saying, we are doing our work. And it is actually an insult when you are working hard at improving legislation for a group of politicians to be standing on the side saying nobody vote for one for making us do that, only to slow it down. We are not slowing the process down. We are improving the legislation that is coming through the upper house, and we've been serious about it.
Caller, good morning.
Brother Mose, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Just a reminder that you have to keep it tight for me. I don't have a lot of time and very.
I will be very precise.
Okay, sir.
I don't believe, like senators, I will never believe it's a dead deal. Because these guys are known for secret accommodation agreements. And we will get this pushed all the way down the road. This was a pass because we calculated the math, we saw the people, the numbers, and it gave us the heebie-jeebies. That's why we got this. But one thing where I feel that the Senate and everybody in Belize don't realize, we don't sign one thing we call UNCA. The very same PUP forced the hand of the UDP to sign it, ratify it, do whatever we want. I don't care. We are 45 years old. We are at the age where we should be acting like we have sense. We are not teenagers anymore. Belize is 45 years old. We need to stop this. This is a joke.
All right, brother.
Played on us, the poor. Only we feel it, boss.
Got you.
You understand me? But Uncap, my brother, listen to me. You gotta sign this. I don't believe that it's going to retroactive because we are not now and going to pass a new thing. Listen to me, from today forward. Anybody who gets in this will go to prison. Once we investigate and we find the book you're gone, you go to jail. Because you open it back to back, retroactive. I do someone send this one, the prisoner want to win here and send all of them, it can be a bloodbath, one waste of time. But put right legislation. We have minds, we have people who are thinking, you understand me? We need to stop this, man. We are 45 years old.
Give thanks, Brother Colmo. Any thoughts on that before I go to a break and come?
Most throughout, the complaint was always that the Senate was a rubber stamp. It's not anymore. But I think, and just to put this on the table, there are many times when we've supported bills and motions that came from the government. So it's not like we're opposing everything. But there's one thing I think we're very adamant about, that we do believe that no bill is better than a bad bill. And so we won't just pass a bill for passing its sake. We read those bills, we look at them, and there are many issues with them when they're held in the Senate for further discussion, amendments, or consultations.
All right, we will take a break. When we come back, I think just to piggyback on some of the remarks made by Senator Chanun and Senator Wade on the matter of how the independent senators have worked this time around. Is it that that we number play and we win the jackpot with the personalities who are presently in those seats? Or is it that by just time it's fermenting to this fine wine stage, and inevitably that's what we have now and this is how it's going to be forever? I would like to hear your thoughts on that, but we take a break and come back.
Hi, my name is Megan and I'm a civil engineer here at M&M Engineering. Behind every successful production process in our factory come quality materials, skilled employees, and reliable equipment. Specifically, rebar and pre-stressing cable from Benny's, which are the building blocks of our products.
Not all rebar and steel are created equal. At Benny's, quality is savings, because building with trusted materials means building stronger, safer, and longer.
Through Benny's Enterprises and Banquet, M&M Engineering has access to the highest quality products and heavy-duty machinery that help us improve efficiency, maintain productivity, and provide the most reliable solutions to our clients.
Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
With the launch of this website, the magistracy reaffirms its commitment to making justice more accessible, transparent, and something that looks very familiar to everyone who comes before the court.
For a person facing criminal proceedings, the website provides information on how the criminal process works, how to apply for bail, and how to appeal a decision. For someone who needs to access the family court, information about the services provided together with the relevant forms and guidance, can now be found in one accessible location. Similarly, information on how civil claims are brought in a magistrate court is available on the website. These may seem like simple things, but they are not insignificant. For the ordinary citizen, knowing where to go, what form to complete, what procedure to follow, and what to expect can make the difference between feeling completely lost in the justice system and feeling empowered to navigate it. This website places important information and documents within reach of every citizen with access to the internet.
And our goal is really to build public confidence. The launch is supposed to, stimulate that so that the public can go online, click the link, play around with the website, get familiar with it. Also, we would definitely want the Bar Association and other key stakeholders, the lawyers, to promote the use of this website, and also the court staff.
We are often the face of justice that the ordinary Belizean is more likely to meet. That is not a burden we resent. It is a responsibility that we embrace. If we are, for so many, the only door into the justice system, then we owe it to them to make that door easier to open.
I've always been fascinated with gemstones. It's all about taking nature's beauty and creating something uniquely beautiful. I've had inspiration from the Belize Blue Bull, the beaches, the jaguar. I've launched a new product called Co-Design with Deb, and Atlantic Bank's e-commerce system has opened the door to my international customers so I can receive payments so they can have their custom pieces shipped to them.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I hear they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Bomb City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying I can help right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Hello Belize, if you're looking for the perfect home air conditioner, then listen up.
First, choose the right tonnage. Correct sizing means perfect cooling and much lower electricity bills. Now, look for efficiency. GREE uses AI-driven performance to optimize cooling and fight high energy costs. Lastly, don't just cool your air. Clean it. Demand health-focused air treatment and smart connected features. Get the global leader in smart home comfort. Contact us today to find your perfect GREE AC.
WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, Mose, Hyde, and with the Powerhouse Quartet that have demonstrated how empowered dissent can be very helpful to protect the interests of the people in the matter of the proposed, the now, at least allegedly, now rejected BTL acquisition of SpeedNet. Senator Wade, Senator Chanuna, Senator Dennison, Senator Herrera here with us this morning. Your thoughts on whether or not we've just had a stroke of luck in regards to the personalities rather than it's just the maturing of the role of the independent senators. Fermenting like good wine. You like that line, Senator Chanuna?
So I would say it really comes down to integrity and character. And I know that when I hold the Bible in my hand and I take an oath to do our duty as per the Constitution, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, I know what that means. And I know that I hold myself accountable. No matter what anybody else sees, when I look in the mirror, I want to know that I have done that and I have met that. Does everybody like that? Of course not. Because status quo is status quo, and that is real. But at the end of the day, I think there's also, with this current composition of the independent bench, if I can use that loosely, because we are independent, but I think the commonality is really to accept that we will not always agree on everything, but we agree on making sure we will work together to find the common ground, because that is always going to be in the best interest of the Belizean people, who look to us to say, be our Senate, be our voice, amplify those issues, and using that platform to amplify. When I stand and I talk about violence against women and making sure that the fact that we are where we are with gender-based violence in this country, that is one of the issues. And then you reflect on what is actually happening to democracy. Is it just as bruised and battered and disrespected to say that your voice doesn't matter, to hear voices say, well, we don't need to consult with the churches and we don't need to consult with the NGOs. We just need to talk to business and labor because they are the working. Well, who is the working class if not the people of Belize, the taxpayers? So when we go in, I know I have my experiences, but we also make sure we represent for everybody, because that we to live out here, that we to feel it. And I think, you know, sometimes it hurts to look forward and think like, man, if we didn't have people prepared to be accountable and to come with clean hands, what would this look like? I can't imagine working under the previous compositions where there were obviously issues, if you will, of integrity. That would have just felt like heartbreak and crush. So I give thanks that we are where we are, but I hear you. We so have to reconcile.
So we believe the number play, but essentially we can't. The structure has to
The system had to have allowed for it.
Mose. So that even if the lottery will win, right? If we never had the lottery game, we couldn't win. And so I'll go back to the Constitution. The Constitution, when it created the 13th senator, it provided a space where the gridlock that would be the Senate would have been broken by not by the president, but by one of the other players. You see, before, when you had an even number, you could have a gridlock and the party in power would always have the final say through the president. When you had the 13th senator and they removed that power, it then made it that you had to have 7 senators supporting a piece of legislation. Without that prerequisite, then you couldn't get lucky, as it were, with the people themselves in the seat. And I can't speak for all the other social partner compositions, but I know that in the NTUCB, we were very calculated in ensuring that this is what we need in the Senate. We need for me, I think the only reason I was put there is because of my background and experience in legislature, like in legislation, in drafting of legislation, in the legal processes, in constitutional law. And so the union itself grew to put somebody forward who is of the caliber that I think could allow for this luck to drive, if, as it were,
Yeah, like in the case of the church, there are parts of the church that's accustomed to soft power. They could, at any point in time, invite themselves at the highest office, rap on the door, and they will get the red carpet. So even where they disagree with the government of the day, they don't even make it public because they can walk in and walk out. So when I became senator, I was asked point blank, what did we do to the church? Why you are here? like something went wrong.
Wow.
What did we do to the church? I laughed at the answer, but I was asked when the votes were taken, I think about 250 pastors and so on, with the endorsement of the Council of Churches, I think one person voted against my appointment. I don't know who that person was, but the idea was that since I have been constantly in the public domain discussing issues and came out of the People's Constitution Commission, represented broadcasting, that I had accumulated sufficient experience to sit at the table and then speak on behalf of the church, because the church is comprised of mainly 2 groups: very conservative group with soft power, and then the evangelicals, who it's a wider, very, very wide group of people that don't necessarily always agree, but they are willing to have confrontational conversations with government. And so that is the group that I come from. And so for me now, while philosophically everybody is on the same page, how the action plays out, it is always a very convoluted decision for me to make personally on how it's literally easier to speak than to act because of these 2 conflicting groups. And I watch my colleagues struggle with that. I watch them as they have to stop. So it might be wine that is aging, but it's not necessarily refined, because it has its struggles in it.
And so vinegar tomorrow.
But I'm a bad man.
Yeah. So I watch them struggle with it. However, I am happy that the group that I come from gives me the liberty to act. And it will always be, I can commit that it will always be in the national interest.
Yeah.
I similar to everyone around the table. I think that I go there to vote my conscience. I consult with the organizations, but at the end of the day, I also believe that there's a larger purpose being in the Senate. And that is to look at, the overall good of the country. And if the country is doing well, then organizations should also do well. And so it's extremely important that I'm able to vote my conscience when I'm there. And if it ever becomes a point where I can't do that, then perhaps I'd have to really look at whether or not I can stay there.
No, I have a strong position on that.
It's extremely, that part of it is extremely important for me. I want to make sure that we make a positive impact while I'm there. Whether we're looking at JPAC, whether we're looking at legislations, motions, whatever, it's extremely important that we're looking at the overall good of the country, or what I perceive and my conscience tells me is for the best of the country.
I just to bring it home with the time remaining to what has happened and what continues to happen, and obviously we are having this conversation because of the matter of the DTL SpeedNet acquisition proposal and how it unfolded, and we're still a bit stunned at the level of arrogance we experience.
Correct.
But I always, when we're having these conversations, we're looking at structurally what the problem is that we have a tremendous concentration of power, and structurally dissent is not empowered. And the very fact that we can speak to the importance of what you all have done is evidence to the fact that power is overwhelmingly concentrated within the executive, and so it speaks to the fact that you can't build on a strategy based on hoping we end up with Jesus and the 12 disciples. We can't hope that we end up with integrity. We have to build a system that understands that the propensity in humans to go awry, to stray, to lean towards unrighteous inclinations passed away is the system that we need to build. And so when you have a situation where we have sleepwalked through the such things as the when they call it a walk, when they call it the walk, the house walk, the vote,
The walkout.
the crossing the floor, which was a real pulling away of any ability for dissent. It's you can't have that. You can't pretend to say that you're a democracy and you are depending on the house to be the voice of you make votes of conscience, but if you do, then this is what has to happen. So I think it's when we look at what we experienced, right, and the system remains intact. You do an analysis of all the positions that are controlled by any prime minister of the country and are chosen or with his or her going along with it, all the boards, the regulatory agencies, all the CEOs, and that remains intact. Then you're faced with a dilemma when you have we were lucky, previous 4 prime ministers, as I think I mentioned off air, we've had lawyers, and we've had a teacher, and we had a former priest or a former priest to be. But now we have an entrepreneurial capitalist prime minister that is in power with a family that is heavily involved with investment and business and development. So now, how do you deal with that? Does the structure deal with it? No, the structure does not deal with it, because your agencies are not going to act in a way that is dictated to them by their legislative responsibilities. They act in a way that is aligned to their loyalty, and then the whole system crumbles. The PUC is muted, the boards and agencies are collapsing and missing in action. And you have to say, okay, how do we protect ourselves? Because we have this prime minister for the next 3 or 4 years, and then you don't prevent. There's no way to prevent that we don't end up with another prime minister that has ties, very deep familial ties with business development. How do we protect ourselves?
But I think it's knowing, and the call to the electorate, to the public, is knowing how we are governed, because what the practice has been is not what the structure provided for. So how do we make sure, and I think this is why the four of us have made this commitment now for the second time, to bring the public into that. You know, why is it that some of the most substantial things are only printed in the Gazette? Who gets the Gazette? Who reads the Gazette? That should be required reading. But even how we are governed in terms of when somebody does say, oh, all of this is hung up in the Senate, language in the Senate. No, because the Senate is doing what it's supposed to do. But you can't reconcile that, well, we're supposed to be meeting every Tuesday, which is why every meeting that I have ever attended since March 2022 has been an extraordinary meeting, because we are choosing not to follow. So how are you saying that we are not meeting as often as we are should be reading? Right now, you try Russian time because you got 4 senators and 1 hour. You can't expect that we're going through 4 bills in the manner that they should be treated, or 20 bills and 10 motions and treaties and state appointments, and tell me that I have to do it in the 1 or 2 opportunities where I get in 6 months, when we should be meeting every Tuesday or every week while Parliament is in session. You
need to take on yourself too seriously. That's how you're being
agreed.
perceived.
So that is how we're being perceived, but with the greatest of but you can't have it 2 ways. You can't tell me that we must go 16-hour meetings, 20-hour meetings, and give the people diminishing returns, because you know what happens if we don't catch something in the Senate? It becomes law. And then what happens? The people of Belize say, but you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to check this for you. We're gonna and sleep on the job. You can't have it both ways. So how do we make sure? Well, how do we make sure that when you come to we have an answer to give you? And if we need more information, we talk about UNCAC. We have so many, several other treaties and conventions, ESCASO, about access to information, and how many journalists are now having to resort to Freedom of Information Act requests. Forget things that are matters of the state. Public information that we should have access to is now being, held at the gates because, well, we don't know what it's mean. I go to Brother Enriquez. How we can't find out how much the lawyers are being paid, because that don't mean everybody rates go up. Well, how if you mean that everybody rates have to come down? Where is the rationale that is the logic to say we can't find out, we can't give you a breakdown of how taxpayer money is being used? At the core of all of these crises is a fundamental concern about how public finance management is happening. This is the Mira Millions, this is allegations of bribery at the Forest Department. All of these crises come down to accountability and transparency. And that is the core function of the Senate under the Constitution. We are the body charged to do it.
Allah sounds good and everything. It's beautiful and very eloquent.
I'm hearing about.
Yeah. The chairman is still the chairman today and will be the chairman tomorrow, and we are challenged to do our next best, because at the end of the day, he served the absolute power in the country.
Challenge accepted by the unions, Mose.
I hear you. But be the chairman today.
Today.
Okay, we'll find out. But I don't mean that just to be for comedy. It's to say that yes, it's a moment. Yes, the 4 senators coordinating and are being. Are we
willing to go to any town hall, have this conversation with anybody who wants to have this conversation? The 4 of us are committed to do our part in getting restored public trust and confidence in the government of Belize. That don't mean one party, that don't mean the administration of the day. That means your government of Belize.
Yeah, Belizeans like go around when in the campaign and they say, this is our good man, this is our good woman. Vote for him because he's good. But the Bible teaches that there's none righteous, no not one. So there's not the way I approach anything is there's no good person, including myself. We are not good. We're not good at all. But what can be good is a good system. So a good person, if there ever were to be one, would be one who recognizes flaw in your own self and is willing to put in the system, the check and balance for your own self. And so anybody who tries to remove systems or reduce system is doing the opposite of what needs to be done in the country. One of the reasons why I really respect my colleagues and see them in a very high manner is how they approach legislation and how they approach improving law. So I think that if people really want to see or to test us or measure us, they should tune into the Senate to see how the debate and argument is of such a caliber that it always seeks to improve what is happening in the country of Belize. And sometimes we have to ignore the detractors, the people who are making noise specifically for the purpose so that corruption could continue to find its way. But the country needs better systems. That is what is going to hold human beings accountable. We are all fallible. And okay, how good we're good, when the money starts show up and all of these things, it is the system that is going to hold us together.
Yeah, and then people then back up that system, because even the system fails you.
Yeah.
I think I was at one point despite all my criticisms of the United States of America, I was infatuated a bit with their Republican system, and then the president came in and demonstrated that man worship can render all those things insignificant, and they are now paying a price for it to some extent. I think ultimately, you know, if we listen to Senator Chanona and past Senator Wade, Senator Herrera, it still will come down to the extent to which the everyday man and woman understands what is important.
Yep.
Because I don't know that the day is going to come when you're going to have people are going to find the time to spend the whole day listening to the Senate. I mean, with due respect to you guys, you are articulate, eloquent, well informed and educated, but you know, that's people want to do other things with their time.
They have to work.
And they find out that you're maybe, you know, you're not the most entertaining, but at the end of the day, making sure that people get maybe not just what is in the news, little inserts or whatever, but that they get a better understanding of the work that's going on. Because right now, again, I don't know how many people out there are aware. I wasn't really paying attention to this whole debate about, you know, the Senate, the whole of things, the veto. Like, I saw it in the news and I'm like, okay, but there's so much other things going on. But this is a very serious situation. The executive and the government feels like the Senate, they move too slow and they hamper things.
It's inconvenient.
Yes, you all have become a problem.
Entertainment is the problem, because while the jokes, then the fly, the legislation, when it jam with the past.
It's important that they get used to it the most, is that, you know, I don't think that any of us would preside over just supporting a bill because a bill came from the House and someone wants it to go through. I mean, we will go through it, and if there are any issues that we have with it, we'll certainly put those on the table and ask for them to be corrected and sent to committee to be fixed. I don't think any of us want to be part of a process that we are ever looked at as just a rubber stamp anymore.
Amen.
Mose, I brought a book and I wanted to share just very quickly. Gandhi had a philosophy on this when he was writing his manifesto for the Indian independence, and he saw part of the problem with representative democracy is that really it is being operated through the party machine, the bureaucratic machine, the money machine, and citizens were passive consumers of their own political destiny. He saw the solution that there was a return to more like the face-to-face politics of the ancient world, where human interactions were unmediated by machinery. And there's a lot in there, but really and true, my takeaway from this is that the power of the people at this time was greater than the people in power. And I think we have to, as citizens, always remember our power. The power of the collective people is always and will always be greater than the power of the people in power.
Senators, I would want to continue this conversation for the next 2 hours, but obviously I am limited by time and schedule, and definitely I know you guys are about your own individual schedules as well. So I just want to thank you for taking the time out, sharing. I know that there is so much more to unpack and to make people understand, and we will call on you to come back again at some point. I know it's difficult for Pastor Wade. He's usually in another space trying to take audience from me. But I want to thank you for joining in. Again, I recognize and respect the work that has been done here and the work that's going on. Respecting and recognizing does not mean that I am along with everything and everything you do or you stand for, or that I don't have my own concerns about how this whole thing is configured. But I know when people have taken a stand, and I know when it has been so important. I'm not completely sold that we reached a point where the people stood as much as they should have. So I'm not jumping up to that. I think that enough people formed strong enough a coalition to have created sufficient deterrence to create a pushback. But we need to examine what has happened here, because the same system remains intact that produced the trials and tribulations of the last 12 months or so. But thank you guys for coming and sharing so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. But parting shot, I grew up at the foot of the sleeping giant, and we know that when that giant does wake up, it can be a very beautiful thing when Belizeans rally. So that is our hope with these conversations, and whenever you can make time for us to come back, we will be here, because it is really and truly the quality of our collective future moving forward, and we take that very, very seriously.
Respect. We take a break and come back, and I think it's our last break, right, Christy? All right, then we wrap.
Good morning, Belize.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
Nokshe Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism. So we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from then it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank just make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together. Every great job starts at Brothers Habet, with the best supplies and the right support, including free delivery on site, so you can focus on the job. Brothers Habet, working with contractors since 1983.
got to close off. Hope you have a great start to your week. Hope you enjoyed and give thanks that you were here for this Monday morning conversation with 4 senators. We missed some of your calls. It's really tight to try to get in stuff, but we tried. All right. With health and strength, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 6:30 for the Tuesday morning WB Wake Up Belize morning vibes. Salute to the team, Anthony G, Grant, Tony G, the Reggae Kingpin, at Comedia, the Glue, Pacliff up at XTV, and our director this morning, Miss Krista Flowers. As always, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize.